Yay.
Yay.
That was perfectly in sync and also harmonized.
What were we? We were like a major third?
I don't really know, but it was very harmonic. It was very consonant.
I'm a very vowel person generally, though.
Hello, happy June. It is Pride Month. Thanks for tuning in to Listen In. We are a music sharing podcast. I'm Kay.
And I'm Alexis, and I can be sexy, and I can be sad.
I'm Jesse, and I'm surprisingly friends with a guy named Zach.
I don't get that reference, but we'll be your hosts for today, sharing some of our favorite tracks that you hadn't heard yet, but you will now. Before we get started with that, what have you all been listening to for the past week?
Music.
Helpful. Very specific. Thank you.
Actually, for me, this has been a very exciting week of new music. One of them being Obingjair's new album that came out. I fell in love with it immediately. It's like everything that I hoped for and more. Also, I listened to the new Kendrick Lamar album, which I have been enjoying that a lot as well. There's a song in particular that stood out to me called Auntie Diaries, which is a song that he wrote that was more of a tribute to his trans uncle and depicting this story of overcoming the ignorance about, gender and those sorts of things fully as a young child. I thought it was very touching on how, humanizing him as a whole and complete valid person. A little bit of warning here, though, that experiencing a song like that in the way that it's being told might not go well with a lot of people, but there's also still a lot of value with getting to hear someone's story and growth through, this sort of personal thing within a family.
That's super cool.
Yeah. I've been listening to Colin Hay, who is a, folk musician. Does a lot of acoustic stuff, has been featured prominently on Zach Braff's works, film and television alike. He was on the Garden State soundtrack, is probably better known as being the lead singer of Men at Work, and I really enjoy his sound. But yeah, more chill, relaxed, folky stuff. Sometimes it's more upbeat. Yeah, that's the vibe I've been going with last couple of weeks.
Cool. I've been pretty obsessed with a song by a Japanese duo called the Bialystocks. It's actually spelled like the character in The Producers. They are a singer and a keyboardist that are just kind of all over the place. The song I've really been loving, it's called I Don't Have a Pen, and it is wild, all over the place. I have been listening to that and digging in a little bit more to their music because they're really fun, bizarre, talented, and fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it when I listened to it too. So yeah.
Yeah, this month we are bringing all songs by queer artists. So for the next 3 weeks, this week included, all of the music that we're bringing is from LGBTQIA+, etc. artists. So Alexis, you have our first Pride Month song. What did you bring?
Today I'll be introducing to you Arca. They are non-binary and identify as a trans Latina woman. The story of Arca's childhood is one I can personally relate to. They were born in Venezuela, where they lived for a few years, and when their father, an investment banker, got a job based in New York, they lived there for until they were 9 and then moved back to Venezuela. This reminds me of my own childhood, having been born in Puerto Rico, living there for a couple of years, moving to New Jersey until I was 10, and then moving back to the island. Arca has opened up about what this childhood was like, and I relate to it too, expressing feelings of displacement among the peers of their homeland after spending early childhood growing up and consuming American culture, making it a bit of a challenge to connect with that sense of belonging with the country you're from. However, in Arca's case, it was a challenge much greater to my own upon returning, as at the time Venezuela was going through extreme political unrest, such as the coup d'etat attempt in 2002, a turbulent time for everyone, especially someone still young and connecting with their country of origin. The childhood of Arca is also when they began their exploration with music and art. At the age of 7, they started receiving training in classical piano, and later, at the age of 13, they downloaded Fruity Loops on a whim, which was when Arca dove headlong into digital-based music. As for Arca's musical upbringing during these years, they had a love for familiar names like Nelly Furtado, Spice Girls, and Aaliyah, and it was while rummaging through their brother's music collection did they discover more alternative artists, such as Nine Inch Nails and Aphex Twin. These would prove to be a turning point in Arca's life musically, becoming a significant influence on the music and outlook to a young Arca, as they expressed what the discovery was like at that age, saying, "I remember walking around a beach and my mind being expanded. There's something in glitchy music that I like to get lost in." Fast forward to today, and the influence of these years in the music has kick-started a prolific body of work with music for Arca, having their first release under the name Arca in 2014, and having released 8 albums since then, notably of which is the Kick series, a 5-part album series started in 2020, and the last 4 of its installments all released in 2021. Arca credits their musical contemporary and person whom they've grown personally very close to, Shane Oliver, as a significant influence on their art, having said about Shane's art how he's shown them how to make music that is confrontational and aggressive but euphoric, pointing to Shane's music on how it would blend samples of industrial music and artists such as 3 6 Mafia. And I feel this idea of art, a cross-section of music that is confrontational and aggressive but euphoric, is a perfect distillation of Arca's avant-garde approach to musical expression. Let's have a glimpse of this body of work with their song Nonbinary from Kick 1. And I dare you to tell me you found where the 1 is in the rhythm of the song. Any hoot, enjoy.
I do what I wanna do when I wanna do it. I check out the bags to prove it. Hips to move it around and make shapes, yes. Trim the waist off and the waist down, girl, it slipped off. It's French tips wrapped around a dick. Do you wanna taste? I don't give a fuck what you think. You don't know me. You might owe me. But bitch, you'll never know me. Ask me how I got here, bitch, I work hard. Ask me about my luck. Yeah, I've been lucky, and I've been unlucky. It's both. Don't push your shit on me. Bitch, I'm special, you can't tell me otherwise. Better be a lie. Who do you think I am? It's not who do you think you're dealing with. No, cause you're not dealing with. There's no deal. Bitch, it's real on my side. Go ahead, speak for yourself. Go ahead, speak for yourself. Cast the first stone. If you wanna be a puppet. Better yet, speak for yourself, states. Speak for yourself, states. Speak for yourself, states. Speak for yourself, states. Speak for yourself, states.
Move for your
States. Speak for yourself, states. Speak for yourself, states. Speak for yourself, states. Move for yourself. I could be friendly, or I could be fake. I could be real, or I could live a taste. What's it gonna take? I could be sexy, or I could be sad and bad. Just let me speak, what a treat it is to be non-binary, not Cherie. Bitch.
All right. Well, who would like to start to speak for yourself, States?
You dared me, so I did it.
Oh, okay. And what did you find?
I found the 1, but the tempo changes halfway through. And that's why it's weird. It's also weird because Arca is like not rapping on a very consistent pattern. It's almost like a spoken word piece over an industrial track.
Yeah. I think that's why it was very difficult for me to find the 1 myself, because trying to find it through the words was hard to find the beginning, and then the beat itself has like this kind of like crookedness and this kind of like offbeat hiccup that I'm just like, where do I find a sense of grounding here? Where's the one?
Yeah, I mean, there isn't really a sense of grounding, but
I mean, I feel like not having grounding is very intentional, and like that's part of the effect that they're going for, of just kind of like embracing the difference that they're presenting. And I thought there were a lot of like really cool decisions that they made for this track. The double voice thing happening for the whole time, just trying to like understand context with the substance of the lyrics about being non-binary. Is this a presentation of the self as an other? Is this the presentation of the self as being multifaceted or like multi-identifying? But yeah, that multi-voice thing I thought was really interesting.
How you were saying like that you feel that the choice with the instrumental being the way it is being intentional. I've been feeling that more and more as well, and I actually only like really made that connection. I looked into it, and Arca has said about this idea of self states, because when I was listening to the song before, I didn't realize that self states was a specific thing that Arca was talking about, and I thought it was speak for yourself, and then state was a separate word. And what they've said about the song was it's about exploring non-binary self-states, that of being finding new modes of relating to that which is other, a identity philosophy. So it seems like it was all intentional.
But in a way, it's in contrast with the lyrics a little bit, where the lyrics are very self-assured and confident.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of person that the lyrics are portraying. But then to have something that seems aggressive but unsure in a way as the instrumental, maybe it's almost like an ode. I don't know if you can still call this song an ode, but we're going to go with it. Maybe it's almost like an ode to finding yourself and to figuring out like who all of those facets of you are.
Which would certainly go along with the whole self states. Like you do point out, like it's very self-assured, but also I think the lyrics are somewhat confrontational. It could be speaking to how their very existence makes some people uncomfortable, and I think they're tackling that head on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it made me uncomfortable though. Like I see how it certainly could, but it made me want to like be in a weird club. I don't know. I don't even like clubs. But yeah, it kind of made me feel confident. I don't know how to describe the sensation of this song. I'm really struggling with words.
I think I know what you're getting at. And to me, the word that comes to mind that I feel when I listen to this song is secure. Secure in a very weird club.
Just like chilling out in that like Blade movie with like the vampire club, just feeling really chill in the corner as everyone else is like dancing around in blood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I could imagine this in a club scene in a movie or in like a HBO Max special series or something about teenagers. I'm imagining like Gossip Girl but queerer and darker, or maybe Cyberpunk. Can we get Cyberpunk Gossip Girl?
I'd watch
that
the heck out of that.
Awesome. Yeah. Maybe without the gossip part of it. Let's just rebrand the whole thing, but similar cast.
Yep.
But yeah, I could imagine it there.
This song is, you know, not a song that I feel like can fit into a playlist, or at least like not fit into like all kinds of different playlists. It's interesting because a lot of Arca's music is short and all over the place in terms of like the kinds of moods that they present. Arca does a lot of like things that are more familiar. Arca does like songs that are a little bit more hip hop flavored, and things that are like these really like postmodern takes on island pop. But it felt like this was probably the best place to kind of get an idea of like Arca as an individual, as an artist. Arca's kind of like all over the place. You know, getting only one look at their music is not indicative of the entire picture.
My artist is Orville Peck, which is the stage name of the gay South African Canadian country singer who wears a mask to hide his identity and create an aura of mystique around his performances. Although, due to the fact that he's very open and honest in his interviews with very specific details that he is South African, was trained growing up in ballet and musical theater, and performed on the West End, and used to be in a punk band, people have roughly triangulated who is underneath the mask, which I will leave to itself if you want to go research that. But his fashion stylings for his performance outfits have also landed him a spot on the cover of GQ magazine in 2020. Also in that year, he was named by online publication Queerty as among the 50 heroes leading the nation towards equality, acceptance, and dignity of all people. I was first introduced to his music a couple weeks ago, and for about 3 days straight was just listening to the 2 albums he's put out on loop. I felt like his music was scratching a musical itch I didn't even know I had. His music is thoroughly in the country genre, but he doesn't sound like the country music that I hear on the radio at all. If I had to ascribe a genre to his first album, Pony, I would just call it weird country. It's got some very old school 50s, 60s Johnny Cash, Conway Twitty stylings, but with somber, melancholy vibes and some surf guitar. The song I'm sharing with you today is from his second album, Bronco, which is more upbeat and has a more mass appeal sort of sound, closer to a Waylon Jennings sort of style, but is still very unique. I also highly recommend watching the music video at least once for this one, if only to see his fashion and flourish that he has when he performs. This is Orville Peck on his single, Come On Baby Cry.
I can see the sadness in your eyes. You've been trying to hide what you left behind. They say it's darkest before the dawn, but you've been smiling for so long. 1,000 teardrops can't be wrong, no. I don't want you to be afraid. Let me see you cry. Oh, I got an arrow soul. Take my hand and let it go. Call me up anytime. Come on, baby, cry. I can tell you're a sad boy just like me. Baby, don't deny what your poor heart needs. Been so long since he called your name, on the run from a losing game. Just bat your eyes, baby, let me feel the pain. I don't want you to be afraid. Let me see you cry. Oh, I got an arrow soul. Take my hand and let it go. Call me up anytime. Come on, baby, cry. Real words everybody knows. Must be nice where lovers go. Take my hand, don't let it go. Just cry. I don't want you to be afraid. Let me see you cry. Oh, I got an arrow soul. Take my hand, don't let it go. Call me up anytime. Come on, baby. I don't want you to be afraid. Let me see you cry. Oh, I got an arrow soul. Take my hand and let it go. You can call me up anytime. Come on, baby, cry. Come on, baby, cry.
So I don't want you to be afraid, but did you cry while you were listening to that one?
Only for an hour or so.
I did not cry.
Oh.
Where has Orville Peck been all my life, aside from Canada, apparently?
In a musical theater production on West End.
And
True.
South Africa before that.
Yeah. Wow. I've known about Orville Peck for a while now, and I never dove in, and I had like no real, reason why. I love this. I love this a lot. I'm going to be listening to Orville Peck from this day forward. Like, this is everything that I really, really love. Yeah, this is incredible.
I think this is actually a pretty good time to get into Orville Peck. They recently released an album. Now they have 2 full albums, which I think are fantastic. The first one I kind of talked about a little bit is like more old school, but I kind of get the feeling from Pony that it would fit right in like a Quentin Tarantino movie or like some grindhouse cheesy 80s like action movie. It's just very weird, but I love it. I love weird music. What'd you think, Kay?
I'm going to say a few things and I don't know how they're going to sound, but please trust me that I don't mean them at all in a negative way. First of all, his voice sounds like a musical theater actor singing a like country song in musical theater. Does that make sense? Like Waitress the musical, you know how whoever plays Jenny normally sort of puts on like a little bit of a twang? It feels like he is intentionally putting on the country sound. However, I really liked his voice. There are a lot of things about the country twang voice that I dislike. And so I appreciated that it was not constant and that he didn't do a lot of the things I cannot stand to listen to. I'm so sorry, country singers. I'm sure you're very talented. Please stop swooping up to every note. It's so annoying to me. But anyway, he didn't do that. I appreciated that he didn't do that. And actually, he just had a really lovely voice. It was really nice to listen to. My other thing I was going to say that I don't know how it's going to sound, and Jesse, I know you called this like weird country in a way. It kind of reminded me of like a parody of a country song. Not the lyrics at all. The lyrics felt very serious. I think the lyrics in the context of a country song, the lyrics being like, pretty much breaking down toxic masculinity in the context of a genre where toxic masculinity has reigned supreme for a good amount of time, that itself already kind of feels like a weird juxtaposition parody that may be very intentional, and I appreciate him a lot for that. But it almost felt like some of the like countryer elements of the song were included intentionally because they were like, but we're writing a country song, so it has to sound like country, right? But if you strip those away, it would just be like a Beatlesy vibe ballad.
I think it's maybe the other direction of starting as like we are basing it in country, but let's make it more gay, I guess, right? So it's more showy, it's more flashy, it's very like Vegas, Elvis, or I would actually liken this particular song to maybe Neil Diamond. And yeah, that's another thing I do really appreciate Orville Peck being an out gay man in a environment that is historically very homophobic. And like getting back to him like putting on the country thing, I agree with you. Like he's not the first person to have to put on the country twang to perform.
Oh, no.
There's plenty of
them.
Australians and Canadians. Yeah, most of them are not Southern.
There are plenty of Americans who don't actually have the twang when they're speaking.
I feel like it's maybe an homage less than like a parody is how I would put it.
I don't think his voice was a parody. That's not what I meant. I did find a quote from an interview with Apple Music where he says, Tobias and I wanted this song to sound like a glossy casino music meets a Bob Fosse musical wrapped up in country. So I feel like we're all kind of on board.
Yeah, it's
I feel like we're
about
all in
right.
the right direction.
Sounds right, and I love it, and I want more
and
of
it worked. He did exactly
Yeah.
what he set out to do.
Kay saying that some of it sound a little Beatles-esque, and I kind of picked up on that too. And that chorus, that key change that happens in that chorus, like that feels very Beatles to me. I have to say, like, this was such a beautiful sentiment to hear. It's a simple song, but it's such a beautiful sentiment. Like, it just feels so powerful. I feel this song is just a very beautiful sentiment for a song that's like really enjoyable to listen to at the same time. So
It's also setting really healthy boundaries by telling somebody how much time that you have to spend with them.
time
Yes.
boundaries are very important.
That is very important.
The one thing that's on my mind though is 3 words everybody knows. What, Kay and Jesse, what are the 3 words everybody knows? I'm curious.
Isn't it I love you though?
That was my assumption as well.
Oh, okay. So that throws my theory out of the window, but okay.
I want to hear your theory.
What was your theory?
I thought it was just come on baby cry, but I mean, I love you sounds
3 words everybody knows. Come on, baby, cry.
You know, it's what I whip out whenever, you know, I need to let someone know the 3 words that they know. Come on, baby, cry.
If you change the context, it becomes kind of mean. Come on, baby,
Oh,
cry.
no. Oh no.
Yeah, I'm glad y'all liked it. Kate, what you got for us this week?
Madison Malone is a pansexual singer-songwriter from Wisconsin. I've seen her music described as ethereal alt-pop, which simultaneously means very little to me and also makes complete sense, so we'll go with it. A bit of a personal story that is kind of unrelated to her music. On March 1st or 2nd, 2020, Madison flew into Nashville, Tennessee to play a show with fellow singer-songwriter Alex Wong on the 5th. Early morning on March 3rd, tornadoes tore through Middle Tennessee, including directly through Nashville, as close as 2.5 miles from where I personally live. Madison and Alex turned their scheduled show into a benefit concert to help those affected by the storms and stuck around to help with cleanup in the city until they needed to go on to their next engagements. Then, soon after that, of course, COVID-19 hit. Madison sang lullabies on live stream for 210 days straight until December 10th of 2020. On December 26th, 2020, Madison married her wife, Helen. I couldn't think of a better song to kick off Pride Month with than her song Quiet Down 2. This is one of those songs that immediately had an impact on me before I even knew anything about the artist. I first heard it when I was pulling into the parking lot of my local Home Depot. I don't actually remember what I was buying, but I do remember sitting in the parking lot for a second to listen to it a second time before going into the store, and then listening to it again as I pulled away. To be honest, it wasn't until some time later that I actually listened to the lyrics, which just made me love the song even more. So make sure to pay attention to them, look them up as you're listening. The title is Quiet Down 2 because there are 2 versions. After pre-releasing multiple versions of singles, she released a 10-song album called 1 and 2 in Roman numerals that contained 2 versions each of 5 songs. Quiet Down 1 and 2 can be found on this album. In comparison to what we'll listen to, Quiet Down 1 is more minimally produced, with acoustic guitar throughout and her voice really front and center. I like it for the way that it showcases the lyrics, but I really love the soundscape on Quiet Down 2. And also, I feel like I have a reputation to uphold as the Makes Me Dance Song Go Bop Bop third of the podcast. So this song was written by Madison Malone and produced by Justin Glasgow. Let's listen to Madison Malone's Quiet Down 2.
Quiet down, keep it low. No need to tell them who you are. Wear the mask, they won't know if you love them or him or her. I don't believe that love could be a sin. Wanna show you all of me, give you everything. Oh, this is not easy. Yeah, this is not easy. within her arms. They can't tell me the way I'm living does anyone harm. If there's a God, I'm sure they brought you to me. Wanna show you all of me, give you everything. Oh, this is not easy. Wanna share my love out loud. Let everyone know he's now. Oh, this is not easy. Yeah, this is not easy. Quiet down. Quiet down. They want me to quiet down, but I won't quiet down. Wanna show you all of me, give you everything. Oh, this is not easy. Wanna share my love out loud. Let everyone know here now. Oh, this is not easy. Yeah, this is not easy. Quiet down. Quiet down. They want me to quiet down, but I won't quiet down.
I don't have any clever comeback prepared. What do you think? How are you feeling?
I absolutely love this.
I have things to say, but it's not easy to get them out right now.
Good joke. Glad you had one. I was unprepared.
It's yeah, this is very bop bop. I love it. The first thing that grabbed me was her voice. Just that like soft, velvety, slightly breathy tone that she's got.
Alexis,
I absolutely love this.
could you speak louder? I couldn't hear you.
I absolutely love this.
Are you okay? Why are you talking
I
like that?
absolutely love this.
Do you need some emotional support chips?
Oh no, I was told to quiet down, but
Oh, clever.
it's making it a little hard to talk about the song.
No, it ends with, but I won't quiet down. You're
Oh.
supposed to say no. So that's the message.
Oh well, see, I got confused because at the beginning it says quiet down, keep it low. No need to tell them who you
Uh-huh.
are.
You have to hear the whole thing.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense.
You only listen to the first 5 seconds on repeat for
Yeah,
12 minutes.
Yeah. Seriously though, this voice, wow, this voice. I hate to sound like a broken record, but I fell in love with that voice immediately. It's just so beautiful, so gorgeous, and something that stood out to me was, you know, obviously the message of this song is expressing this feeling of our love is valid, you know, our relationship is valid. And a particular line that stuck out to me was the line, want to show you all of me, give you everything. I don't know about either of you, but to me, the way I read this line and the way I kind of experienced it was not even knowing entirely who it is that we are, but wanting to give someone whatever it is that's inside of us. I can find a lot of support for people that are finding, you know, significant people in their lives to be able to, you know, say, you know, bravely, you know, people might oppose of us, on what they see on the surface. And I think it's beautiful to be able to want to also get validation and self-discovery on the things that we don't know about each other quite yet, because that is a part of me, and I want to give that to you as well.
I do want to talk about the production a little bit. I really enjoyed it. I thought this was very well produced, and it sounds so big and wide, and I think like there's a lot of layering that they do with like background instrumentals and like classy amount of reverb. And I really enjoyed just like the soundscape of it, and just feeling kind of embraced by the music that was going on at the same time as listening to her lyrics.
That's what I'm talking about. I love the bridge. That's what sucked me into it first. But really, that is her voice. And then I really love the production choices in the chorus that follows that immediately. Her voice is so warm to begin with. And then the song just feels like a warm, comforting hug. Not that either is more valid than the other, but we started this episode with something that was a bit more aggressive and was like, this is who I am and you will accept it. And this one felt like somebody matching that in a way with like, yes, I will accept it. This is who you are. This is who I am. And we're going to be okay with it.
Those choruses and talking to her significant other and talking about like opening up and it not being easy, like that's a pretty universal experience. So I think it's a very beautiful and enjoyable part of her lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
I, for one, really enjoyed the version that we got to listen to today, and knowing that there is a more stripped down version as well. I think it's really interesting that another version of it exists out there, and that it most likely changes kind of the emotional quality. And I would be really interested to hear those versions as well, the other versions of the songs that she's written before.
Definitely check it out. An interesting thing about Quiet Down 1, rather than having the full soundscape that it has, really features acoustic guitar, but it does still have production. The biggest thing I think that is different, other than that fundamental thing, is that her voice in Quiet Down 1 is absolutely front and center. So in a way, it would feel like the stripped down version, she would feel quieter, but she actually feels louder. You can hear every word, you can hear every consonant, you can hear the lyrics very well. And I think it actually might drive the point of the song home a little bit better. I definitely just prefer that sort of warm hug feeling that I get from Quiet Down 2.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out.
Well, Madison recently released an EP in just late February of this year titled Songs I Wrote Before You, which, in her words, contains songs from, quote, the vault of her laptop's hard drive. That's definitely worth checking out. And check out more from us. This is an outro. We sometimes remember to do them. All of the artist socials will be in the description, so please follow them. Tell them how awesome they are. Support their music and their releases, and go follow us too to know when we are releasing more, so you can hear more artists. The next 2 episodes are going to include more queer or LGBTQIA plus or whatever terminology you prefer artists. What did I forget?
I don't think you forgot anything.
Boom, bam, done.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. Anyway, Alexis, do you want to prompt Jesse so it's a little more natural?
Oh, yeah. Prompt Jesse.
Okay.